Well, good morning, everyone. How you all doing? Whittler Dave here. I hope everybody's having a blessed morning, drinking their coffee or what have you. I know I am. Just getting ready to set up my day and warm up my old hands and do your exercises like I've showed you. Stretch them hands out. Do this. It helps. Rotate your neck. Stretch your whole body out. We've all been in bed. If you're getting ready to carve that day, or just as you're carving, stretch them hands out. Make sure you massage. Get those tendons stretched out, just like this. Rotate that wrist. Massage them fingers. You know, we use these little things. I have ever since I've been a little boy. Not as young as I used to be. But anywho, and the angel, I'm not going to bore you with all the sanding. But she is carved. She's 100% carved. Now we got to sand it. I'll cut the tenon in when I get ready to mount it on the board, and I'll bring you back on that and everything. But anyway, you know me, I tell people folk art. I love folk art. I always have, always will. I grew up with folk art. Some people love caricatures, and some people like horses, and some people like dolphins and everything. And I like horses too. And I was going through all my folk art. You know, I have all kinds of folk art stuff dated back years and years ago, and I noticed something. I noticed this little picture, me eyeball, me brain, of a folk art horse and everything. So, you know me, I don't copy or nothing like that. I change it up. I added to the front breast of the horse and the mane, and changed the tail, changed a lot of it. And it's made out of that 100-year-old cedar. The folk art horse. Ain't it beautiful? And you know, the weird thing is, I don't know how it's going to turn out, that knot right there, after I drawed it and did the first cut, the eye's right there, you know? So yeah, and it's got the tenon. I almost forgot this thing. Like, whoops, I had a short of this tad. Neil brain wasn't thinking. I mean, I could have mounted it the old way, but I like cutting the tenons. That way you know it's good and solid. But the folk, and look, I got the white, and the white's on both sides. You know? So, yeah, the folk art horse. I love folk art. Let's get you down here. You're tired of looking at the old man. You don't want to look at me. Lord, no. I tell people I dress in the dark so I don't scare myself. You know? I do. I don't want to scare myself. Let's have a drink of coffee. Well, let's just start profiling this. You know, we don't have to get crazy right now. Do a little whoop-de-doo right here, because that's going to be the neck. Can you see, folks? You know, I have been having a lot of people ask me about my table and said, hey, they're wanting to build one, and do I mind? No. I understand shipping is expensive, and some people say, hey, Whittler Dave, you know, I like your table, but I would do this. And I'm like, please do. You know, you can't build the same table I built. This table fits me. You know, so if you don't like something or you want something different, I'm just the guy that came up with the idea. And all I ever ask out of anybody, if you use one of my ideas, just tell people like I do that you're not the designer of this, and Whittler Dave designed this, and I'm going to make it my way, but the first person that made it was old Whittler Dave. That's just giving respect and recognition to the artist like I do. I'm not the person that came up with this. Somebody else did. I'm just a man that changed it up because he liked it, and now I'm making it. I am. Let's see, I want to talk about a couple things today. You know, I appreciate everybody out there that views my channel and looks at my channel and takes a moment and everything. But there's a couple things I want to ask you, and I would appreciate it. If you get on my channel, please watch it if you start it. What that means is YouTube is watching everybody out there who views channels. And if you're only on there just for a few minutes and you just maybe push the like button. That doesn't help me. You know, it doesn't help me. A lot of people think that does help. No, you have to watch pretty well all of it. But YouTube is watching that and everything. The other thing is, I get a lot of people, a lot of views on different things, but hardly no likes. Well, you know, I need likes. If you're going to watch my channel, I would appreciate deeply if you just push the like button, leave a comment. If you don't like it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. You know, that's how we grow. That's how we grow. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm 61 years old. You know, you're not going to hurt me. You know, so please leave a comment. And the biggest thing is, you know, I pride myself on my channel. I don't say anything vulgar. I won't have it. And I stress that my channel is 100% family channel. And what that means is you can set your little ones down. You can set your grandkids down. And you can just walk away. They can watch a crazy old man carve this little horse, this crazy old horse. Or, you know, whatever. You know, and I pride myself in that. I do. I've lived 2 lives. I'm an old construction worker, truck driver. And now I'm just retired. And, you know, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear that. You know, I hope you understand. I'm just an old man that tries to enjoy his last part of his life talking to you folks. Because really, I don't have anybody. You know, I would love to have all you here. I wish you all lived in the same block. Because then I'd have other artists and I'd have somebody to talk to. Because believe it or not, folks, unless somebody comes to the shop or my wife's off or maybe Brian stops, I'm by myself pretty well 98% of the time. Been like that all my life. And that's why I like Burger King, because I get to meet people, and that's why I like doing shows, because I find people like me. And I don't care if you're a painter, you're still cut from the same cloth. You're an artist. So I thrive on that. I do. But anywho, what I'm asking is, if you're going to get on my channel, and I thank you, please watch it. Please, please, please push the like button. And if you ain't already, subscribe. You know, subscribe. And that's going to help me build my channel. You know, that is. And I am talking to my wife. You know, I want to try to get, you know, the ladies. You know, you can do this. Don't ever feel intimidated that you can't do this, because, Lord, you can. I'm teaching a lady that is 77 years old, never carved, and now she's carving every day. And, you know, she comes to Burger King, and she carves with me, and we chit-chat. We just have fun. And she just, you know, she sent me an email and said thank you. And that's all I need. You know, the appreciation. You know, I didn't ask for money or anything like that. Just a kind word of thank you. That was it. So, ladies, you can do this. Ladies, you can. Trust me. I've taught all kinds of people, female and male, and children. You know, at a certain age, I can, you know, I've just taught all my life. I've taught at colleges and schools and churches and Boy Scout, Girl Scout, private shows. I have taught a lot of places because I got my talent from a higher power. Never had schooling. When I went to art school, it bored me. I told you that. So I ended up changing it. I did. You know, so anywho, but we kind of got off track. I'm sorry, but the biggest thing I'm asking is, if you do watch my videos, please like, subscribe, watch the whole video, and share it, and that's going to help me out 100%. I got a knot there. I do. Here we go. We're going to use a razor knife. This is a knot, and there's no sense. You hear me talk about this all the time. Why tear up a tool? Why dull it when you're just this? You know, I can throw these blades away all day long, and all I'm doing is profiling right here. And I'm not just gonna. I take pride in my tools. I do. Yes. There you go. That's good enough right now. But on the table, make it your own if you're wanting to build one. You're not going to offend me. And I tell people, daveposton@gmail.com. I give you that all the time because I want to see what you're doing. You know? I do. And the other thing is, when I tell somebody that I love their work and I'm very impressed, I'm just not saying that. Lord, I'm telling you, I am very impressed with your work. You gotta realize, I grew up where no one ever told me that I was a good artist. None of my family or nothing like that. I was never told. My mom went to her grave and never told me that she was proud of me as an artist. Never did. So, it is what it is. So when I tell you that I'm proud of you, by golly, I am. I'm impressed. Keep it up. No right, no wrong. You know? No right, no wrong. This is going to roll this way. So, you hear people always know where your metal is. You know, this way. Well, know where the center is right here. I don't draw them. I draw them for you folks. So, know where that center is because this is going to roll this way and this is going to roll this way. You know? So just know that. You know, if you have to do that, and if you have to do a visual for the center, because this is a two-sided, this is going to be rolled this way. This side will have more heavier carving, where this side will just have, on your back side, will just be minimum. Okay? You know, it's kind of a two-sided, kind of a, you know, knot. Painting my big gnome, one of my big gnomes that you've seen me carve. I will be showing you. Getting him all painted up. And a lot of people want to see me paint one of these, but there is a huge process when I paint something like this. Huge. So it just, there ain't enough film there because I'll paint and walk away. And then I'll come back a few minutes later and paint and walk away. It's talking to me. It's telling me of colors, and I'm seeing colors, and I'm mixing colors, and I don't know how to explain it. You know, I feel painting. I feel it. I see it and feel it. I do. Give me all these sharp edges. But I am painting one of them. I started another one out yesterday with the hatchet. I had these little small wood. So I don't know, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I think at least 5 boards. Don't hold me to that. You know, it's over there and I'm old and can't see like I used to. Let's knock these edges down. Yeah. This tail's going to do a little whoop-de-doo-doo. You know? But I love folk art. I think she's going to be really pretty. Really, really different. See how I draw? The folk art horse had this little stubby tail. I'm like, no. It's got to have a big tail. And it didn't have a mane. On the original drawing, it didn't have this mane come out here, so I drawed the mane. It didn't have this, had this little tiny hoe. Didn't like that. I wanted the legs to run open and long, so I drawed this bigger. It didn't have a butt. It only had this little stumpy little butt, so I drawed it. It didn't have a good belly, where it's been eating all the time, so I drawed it, and I changed all the face. You know, this wasn't big enough. It looked pencil. And, you know, and even though I'm carving it now, after I get done, it will tell me where I should draw even more. And probably the next one I do, and I am going to do another one like this, the next one I do will even change even more. The first one is just a learning curve. And, you know, I have to get my brain wrapped around it. I've never carved this. And I let the knife talk to me and the wood talk to me. But then the next time when I do it, I'll have it down pat. It's stuck in my brain. A little I got left. You know? Oh, did you hear that? It's speaking to me. I know. The other thing I was asked the other day, or told, I said, man, you do so much beautiful lines. So, I think I'll just jump back to how I used to teach, and I think I'll do a line board. Just a board, show you how you can lay the knife down and just cut lines and learn to operate the knife. I mean, it's just a, you know, I used to show younger people how to control the knife. So I'm thinking about doing that, just get an old board, and you know, you can practice that way. You know, it's all about control, about how you hold the knife. You know, it is. The other thing, and I believe he's from Denmark, he's asked a question I haven't been asked in a long time. And I am going to do one up for him and do it right here on the channel. He wants to see it. And it's old folk art, a ball in a box. One of the most simplest things to carve. Just a ball in a box. And no, we're not going to do it like these modern people that I've seen on YouTube. They get a square piece of wood and they drill all four sides, and they take a scroll saw and scroll out the little block, and then they take a knife and they clean it, and they cut the ball, and they go, whoop, there it is, hand carved. No, I'm going to argue with you on that one. Truly, ball in a box is just an old folk art. Men used to sit around on the streets and they'd carve the wooden chains and the ball in the box and the swivel stick. I've done all that back when I was a kid. And they would just sit around. Sometimes they didn't have a square piece of wood. They'd take a stick and carve one out of it. I've seen that done. So, yeah, I've got to get some wood laid up here, but if you watch this one, that's coming. I will do you a ball in a box. Very, very, very simple. What's nice about the simple stuff is say you're out and enjoying the day, and maybe you're out with your family or your grandkids, and you know they're out there swimming and you don't want to. Take you a chunk of wood and just sit down in the lawn chair, and while you watch them play and stuff, just sit there and whittle. I do that a lot. I've always got my bag. I always carry that bag. And I carry one or two carving bags. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. Excuse me, coffee. And if I don't want to go in when Lara does any kind of shopping, or she's out with my daughter V, and they're out there playing games because I'm not a gamer at all, then I'll just sit on the bench. Sometimes I'll bring a chair, and I'll just sit there I can sit there for hours and hours and just carve that. Yes, I can. Yep. A folk art horsey. Okay, so I want this tail to be more prominent than his backside. That's what I want. That's what my brain is telling me. So let's take out some more of this. Let's use this dog leg. That's why you want to go with a thicker piece of wood and work your way down. This is a little over about 1 3/4 inches thick. What this is. I milled it down to that. Please do not carve on your legs. Use a table. Please be safe. Use your glove and your safety tape and your finger little doodaddy things that I've seen people use. Please use that. Now, I have used one of those thumb guards one time. I cut my thumb up so much at a show. You know, when you cut your thummy, it gets sore. So I had one and I tried it, and it, you know, I lost some of my ability to carve because I can't feel it. But I was able to finish that show without my thumb screaming at me. I mean, I didn't have any super glue. Usually I have super glue and I glue it all back up. Well, I ran out and I stupidly forgot to buy some. So I had one of those and I tried it. I don't know where I got it at. And it was able to finish the show. Because, you know, I use this finger so much. You know, I cut into it, cut into these things. And, you know, I was talking to a young carver the other day, and he's carving fishing lures. And, you know, told me how he's using his thumb. And I said, yeah, I'm an alien because I don't even have my original thumbprints because I think I've carved them all away. He was laughing at me. Yep. I said, you've carved as long as I have. And I told him that old finger there, if this thumb fell off, I'll glue it back on. So I tell people, because I use it constantly. Yes, I do. Little swoop-de-doos here. Now, I drawed this out yesterday and got it ready. And I thought, well, we're going to do a video today. I watch Cedar. She likes to pick up. It's a beautiful wood, but sometimes she can be not so pretty. But you got to learn, anytime you carve, you got to learn to fix and learn to hide it. You be cutting along and all of a sudden the grain does something crazy. It splits, it chips, it opens up. And you don't give up on it. Learn to fix. Learn to fix. I do it a lot, especially in cedar. Now, if you look at this here is lower now than the tail. And that's what I want. And I got to take a little bit more in through here, right in through here, because this needs to come down whoop-de-doo like this. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, right there. And that's, you know, that's our go. This is the front side. You got to pick a side that you want front. I mean, you could have carved it like this, but I think this grain on this side, even though that knot is right there, everything, these knots and stuff that are just, well, that's actually beauty, is those knots. You know, you're going to have to struggle with it. But that's a knot, and that's just, especially I wanted this one, because if it turns out right, it's going to look like it's got an eyeball. And I tried to cut it out, that's the first thing I thought, well, it looks like it's got an eyeball. So we'll just have to see how it turns out. It could be a good idea, or it may not be a good one at all. I don't know. Look how pretty that grain is in there. I hope you can see it. That's pretty grain. It is. Not touching the tail yet, because I want it a certain way. Let's lose this edge right here on the back side. This will be more tapered than this, because it doesn't have to be that tapered right here. It just, like I said, you don't want to see a carving, or I don't. It's carved here and it's got this straight line here. That's just, there's no, you got to put some love there. So when you see it here, it rolls this way, it's got this softened line right here. You know, and if you don't want to carve it, use a piece of sandpaper, use a file. Do something, just lose that hard line. That's all you got to do. See how I use that thumb? I'm telling you, I have been using thumb carving like that for years. That's something that Lara, my wife, has never been able to do. She can't get it in her head how to use the thumb, and I've showed her 14 million times, but just something about the thumb, she hasn't learned. Hopefully one of these days, but she's been carving now for 22 years, so I don't know. I don't know. Righty. Mr. There he goes again. Well, video is getting a little bit longer. But anyway, like I said, I want to first thank everybody that has subscribed and watch it. But if you do jump on Whittler Dave's site, please go through the whole thing and watch it, because YouTube is watching my channel. That's how they basically grade me. See how many people actually stay and watch the thing, or they get on, watch a few minutes of it, and they push the like button and they're off. That doesn't help me. And if you do watch the channel, please leave a comment. It can be bad or good. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Like I said, I'm 61 years old. I'm not a child. You know, leave a comment and subscribe. That's the other thing. You know, just push that notification button up there and subscribe, and it'll let you know when Whittler Dave puts out another one. And just like the guy in Denmark, you know, he's asked me to do something, and I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to think about doing a line board to show you maybe how to handle the knife a little bit better. Things that I taught myself. All this knowledge that I got, maybe not be scientific and everything, and people are like, well, that's not right. Well, it is for me. Because there was no computers back then, no YouTube, nothing. There was old men, like I am now, an old man, sitting around. And I was always told by my grandmother, keep your mouth shut and only ask questions when you need to ask questions, and you'll learn. Well, yes, ma'am, I understand. And I did. I mimicked. I mean, yes, I have the ability to carve. I have that frontal lobe. You know, they say artists use their frontal lobe at the most. And I believe in everybody has a disability. Mine is reading, spelling, and comprehension skills. But where I lost in one, I gained in the other. And the art is where, when I was a kid, I may not was able to read and write. Kids made fun of me and stuff, and that was fine. But there's one thing they couldn't take from me, is my ability as an artist. Or fixing things. I've always been a maintenance man, so that's one thing. That's how I made my living when I was younger. So that's one thing that people could, you may make fun of me because I couldn't read and write and spell very good, but this is how I speak. I sing with my hands. I speak with my hands. Yes, I do. But anyway, on the table, make it your own. Like and subscribe and share. Please send me pictures and everything. I would appreciate that. Let's get you up here. Oh. Woo. Let's get you up here. I hear those bells. I love the bells. I do. But like I said, like, subscribe, and share. And please watch the whole thing through. Push that notification button, the like button, comment. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I like the horse, the Horky. He's going to be so unique. I love the white in his tail. I got some ideas right here. But anyway, Whittler Dave wants to say thank you to everyone who's leave me comments and has been on my channel. I appreciate and love you all. I do. Like I said, I got the shop. That's really all I got. Just me and my wood and knives, and occasionally I pray, hey, somebody calls me and says, hey, today we're in town, we're going to come and see you. Please do. All right, you all have a blessed one. I thank you again, and Whittler Dave will just talk to you later. Thank you.